everyone. I'm Carl Tanner, and this is Opera with a Side of Fries.
Welcome to our second episode.
Yes.
Hopefully you enjoyed the first episode, or if you didn't see the first episode, you're just coming across us right now. We are three opera singers who just want to give you kind of a sense of behind the scenes, our lives, what we've encountered through the years, and hopefully you enjoy some of the things that you hear.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we're starting off this episode with the not so glam life of an opera singer.
Right. I think people see us on the stage, and it is the best part is getting the applause, and everybody says congratulations, and then you may come out off stage and people ask for an autograph, and that feels great. But there are moments which are not so glamorous, and I think we kind of want to talk about a couple of those instances.
Absolutely. You know, little things come to my mind. It's like when you come off stage at the Met and you've just sung a major opera and there's someone there to get an autograph of someone else.
Yeah.
And they come up to you and they go, "Oh, Mr. Tanner, oh my God, what is it like to work with Oren Gratis?"
No. My favorite thing is when you come off and they think you're somebody else, and they come up to you and they say, "You were fabulous," and then they realize that you're not that person, and they kind of they back away slowly.
I like the one where you come off and they say, "Were you in the show?"
Right.
Because they can't even recognize you. So
Right.
much damn
Because of all the
costume.
makeup,
Right.
Well, so I'm going to start this little segment off. My very first agent, rest in peace. She passed away a while back.
Really?
Yeah,
I killed two.
Yeah, and she passed away young. She would call me, and I'm going to out myself here, but I have a husband, and so my husband and I've been together
Really?
going on 29. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Isn't that great?
Does he know about this?
Does he know about the two of us?
No.
I was gonna say, shh.
Does your wife know about
I
this?
know.
So we've been together going on 29 years, and Stephen is amazing. He's the best of our family.
Can I kind of give a little description of?
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe it's better if it comes from me. Carl, you're a big guy. I would say, what are you, 6 feet tall?
6 feet.
You're into the 200s pretty
Well
heavily.
into the
Into the 200s. Your husband Stephen is an incredibly handsome, smallish, I would say, smaller stature Chinese man. And the two of you make a wonderful couple together.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to preface the story by just kind of giving a little background of your of you and Stephen.
Right, and over the years, you know, I've attained some notoriety and et cetera, and it's really nice to, you know, people email you and, you know, they email you with stories that their kid's in the hospital and is not going to live, and they want you to stop by and sing a song or stop by or what, you know, whatever the story is. You hear it all the time, and, you know, or they heard about the possibility of a movie come out about my life and all this stuff, and they want to talk about, you know, they want to know you. Where my husband keeps me grounded. You know, I remember I was going to buy something one time, and he opened. You know what? At the beginning of our first episode, we said we're not always going to be
Politically correct.
and we're not always going to be non.
But go for it, because I know where this is going, and I think the audience needs to hear.
So I came home one day and I was telling him I bought something recently, and he goes, "What are you, Johnny Rockefeller? You win lottery?
Very good.
You win lottery? Oh, you win a stack of cash. Oh, show it to me." So back up almost 30 years, and with this new agent, you know, when I was at the very beginning of my career, my agent would call and go, you know, in the sake of privacy, or I hold great memories of her. I'm not going to mention her name, but she would go, "Hi, Carl. It's July 30th at 2:28 and 40 seconds, and it's a Wednesday, and I'm calling to let you know that I have a job offer for you, believe it or not." And one time I got a call, and it's a true story. So she called and she left this. Hi, Carl. It's March 20th at 3:37 in the afternoon and 41 seconds. And I have a job offer for you, believe it or not. It seems that the Natchez Riverboat Queen has called about your availability. Now, they're doing 2-night cruise, and what that means is they'll do a nightly cruise where they leave the port and they sail down the river, and you will go right into singing a 20-minute segment. Then they pull over and dump you off. And they continue on, and you have to drive to the next port and get on the boat. And that's the next night, and sing another show of 20-minute segment, and then get off there, take a bus back to your car, and head back to New York. Now, it doesn't pay anything. It doesn't pay $1. And you have to get yourself there.
To Natchez.
You have to, yeah. And hell, I didn't even know where Natchez is. Where the hell is
Exactly.
Natchez?
You thought it was someplace in New Jersey.
Yeah, I thought Natchez, New Jersey. Or something.
Exactly.
Exactly. Natchez, Virginia. And then she said, and they are not going to pay your housing. So they don't pay you, and they don't pay your travel, and they don't pay your housing.
But the exposure.
Oh,
But the
yeah.
exposure.
The freebies we give away.
And then she said,
Did you get a free buffet
she
coupon?
said,
or-
now it's rumored that Beverly Sills, yes, Bubbles herself,
It's going to be on the Natchez.
is going to be on the Natchez Riverboat Queen.
Sometime next year.
It's an opportunity you can't pass up. She's going to see you. Your career will be made. What do you say? So this message was on the machine. So I came home, and my husband goes, have you heard the message lately? I said, he goes, go listen to the machine. Go listen to the machine. So I go and I push play, and he goes, hi, Carl. This is March. It's March 15th, and at 3:37 and 41 seconds, and I have a job offer for you, believe it or not. The Natchez River, and I'm listening to this, and my husband, I look over at him, and he goes, what the hell has happened to your career? I said, nothing's happened to my career. It's just starting. And he goes, and it's already shit. And I said, it's not shit. It's not shit. It's going to be okay. Really? It's going to be okay if you get a new agent. And I said, look, let's just see where it goes. And he goes, it's going to go shit. That's where it's going. And I said, okay, I understand. So we're I'm listening to this, and he's looking at me, shaking his head. While I know he's right, I'm trying to concentrate on the positive here. I was offered a job. And I tell him that I was offered a job, and he goes, for free. You have to pay to get there. You paying them to sing. He goes, what kind of shit is
But
this?
Beverly Sills.
And then he looks at me and he goes, who the hell is Bubbles? And I said, it's a famous opera singer. He goes, a famous opera singer by the name of Bubbles? Who the fuck is that? I said, she's famous. And he goes, I don't care. I don't want to know anymore. So, this was my life for about 2 years. I'd call and get these offers, and some of them were, viable, $600-700 a night. And, you're climbing the ladder as I was never a young singer, but because I started my career late. But, and then one day I get a call at my work. And I was working at a place called Sabra's Moving and Storage.
With all the Israelis, yes?
Yeah, I was a Sabra. And Sabra,
My people.
yes, your people,
That's
yes.
right.
And I was a Sabra.
Best movies there are.
I had the greatest boss. His name was Benny Schmiel. Benny Schmiel and Aviaz. Aviaz, if you're listening, buddy, much love to you and your family. And John List. John List is somewhere working in, I don't know, where are you? I think Hong Kong. Anyway, so I come home I get a call one day, and I answer the phone, and it's my husband, and he goes, "Oh, it takes a cake now." I said, and he goes, "Wait till you get home and listen to this shit." I said, "What?" He goes, "Your career's officially shit." And I said, "I'm saying that. You're not making me feel good." He said, "Okay." He said, "Come on home." So 5 o'clock, I go home, and I walk in. He goes, "Go listen to the machine." So I go listen to the machine. I push the button. Hi, Carl. It's January 30th at 2:20.
And 14 seconds.
And 2:20 and 14 seconds. And I have a job offer for you, believe it or not, that can't be turned down.
Wow.
And I'm excited. I'm like, damn, finally the Mets calling.
Yeah.
It seems that there's a nun in Panama celebrating her 100th birthday. And they would like you to trek to Panama and sing happy birthday. Now, there's going to be some very influential priests there. I'm not kidding you. And some very important dignitaries from the Catholic Church there. And although they're not paying you and they're not paying your flight,
you have to make it down to Panama.
I have arranged a piece of the birthday cake.
Oh, jeez.
And Stephen looks at me and he goes, I can't say anymore. I'm leaving. I said, you're leaving me? And he goes, no, I'm just leaving the room. And he walks out and I'm like, oh my God. And he goes, now, think about this. A major opportunity for someone to hear you.
International travel.
And to tell someone
That's right.
else who tells someone else who might tell someone else that knows someone at the Vatican.
That's right. That's right.
Call me back right away because this is an opportunity that you cannot turn down. And I'm like, what the hell? So I have a long-time friend since I met her in the opera world. Her name is Joyce Campana. Joyce Campana, you know you're out there, and I love you. And we talked this week, and I know you're not minding me mentioning your name because I'm going to have you on the show. But Joyce, I would call Joyce, and we would commiserate about our job offers or our lack of work. And I called Joyce, and as I'm playing the message on the machine, I hear Joyce pipe in and start repeating exactly what my agent had said. And then I realized it was Joyce that had said this.
What you read me an email from her. Did you still have that email?
Oh, I do somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, because she also wrote you another one with imitating your manager.
Oh, my
right?
God, she does all the time. And every time she writes me, she calls me either Hot Pocket or Poopsie Coat. Poopsie Coat.
Okay.
I told her I liked Hot Pockets, and this is like 20 years ago. I said, have you ever had these new Hot Pockets? They're really good. And she goes, you know, they're 900 milligrams of sodium in one little Hot Pocket. And I said, well, that's what makes them taste good. She goes, yeah, and that's what makes them taste good is you're having a heart attack.
That's right. Yeah, right to the hospital.
So that was my Natchez Riverboat Queen story. And I'm telling you, I never got to sing on the Natchez Riverboat Queen.
You turned it down.
I did. You know, I thought, I actually did mull it over. I was thinking, wow, Beverly Sills did get to see me. And Beverly Sills did get to see me sing Tosca at New York City Opera.
But never on the Natchez Riverboat Queen.
Not on the Natchez Riverboat Queen. But I did mention that story.
Yeah. Did she actually go on the Natchez Riverboat
To
Queen?
her.
Or
And
she
I
probably
said,
said, "What the hell are you?"
Was that a real gig? The Natchez.
Yeah, no, that was a real
really
gig.
is.
That was a real
And
gig.
she looked at me and she goes, what? And I said, I almost took a job because I had heard that you used to go on the Natchez Riverboat Queen.
Right, yeah.
And she said, excuse me, but I have no idea what you're talking about. And she goes, but you sound amazing. I said, thank you, maestra. Thank you. I said, I appreciate that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What do you guys got?
Well, I mean, you want to go first, or
What is
You know what,
section?
Oren,
What is
actually,
this section we're doing? Stories from the road?
Yeah,
this is the not so glam, and I think Frank, you should tell us your taco story.
Well, let me
hear your taco story.
Gosh. Listen.
Frank, you got to tell us because I heard you have this amazing story about Mexico.
Well, I love Mexican food. When I first got to New York,
We can see that.
I know.
I thought you were.
That's why I'm putting the black up here because
Yeah.
I saw the first footage of our first thing,
And
I make you all look skinny.
Black
Why
is
do
so
you-
slimming.
Black is thinning.
Why do you think I have this chair in front?
Oh, that's what it is.
Warren,
That's why
you
they made me change position. I'm the
Sit
skinny
right
Minnie
here,
in this
buddy.
group,
Let me sit
which is
right here.
it's a joke. I'm the skinny one. That's a joke. It's like whenever I do Mozart, I'm always the big fat cow. But when I do Verdi, they're always like, "Oh, you are so thin."
That's right.
It's amazing.
That's why I switched to Wagner.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, Frank, go ahead.
All right. Well, when I got to New York, I had been singing with the Utah Opera for about 2.5 years. I was out in Salt Lake City, and I came to
The Mormons.
I was out, the Mormon Tabernacle, solo with the Mormon Tabernacle a couple times. There's some funny stories there, but this one here, it just kind of puts it all in perspective of how close we can sometimes come to peril in our careers and the lessons we have to learn. But, I had a background by the time I came to New York City because everybody said my entire career leading up to being in New York, you've got to be in New York. Mm-hmm. What are you wasting your time here? You've got to be singing at the Met. I had made my debut in opera in 1991.
Okay.
That old?
Well, no.
I was going to say, I was a junior in high school.
I know. Well, here's I made it actually. I guess I'll go back. I actually was singing. I opened the Italian opera section at Busch Gardens in 1980.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Amazing.
Wow.
That was my first opera experience.
Did his manager get
Don
you that gig?
Giovanni.
Yeah, but I didn't know what I was doing then, and I hadn't gone to school yet. So I go to school, and you do the 6-7 years.
In 1991? 1991?
And so in 1987.
1987.
No, in 1987 I moved to Germany, and I did sing in Augsburg, Germany. And then my father passed away. So I took a hiatus from singing for about 3.5-4 years. I sold real estate. I worked construction with your brother.
Yes, you did.
In Miller and Long in Virginia. I tell you,
he
the
tells
jobs
me,
we
he goes,
do.
Hey, you know this guy named Frank? I said, Frank who? And he said, Frank Basil. Frank whatever, Basile, whatever his name. I said, I know Frank.
Yeah.
He goes, well, he's working construction with me. And
I know. I'm sitting there tying up rods and laying graphs, what do you call that stuff? Plywood and stuff to pour concrete for a building in Tyson's Corner. And the guy's telling me his name, and then he says Tanner's his last name. I said, I knew a Tanner. And he says, yeah. And I said, yeah, well, I'm background's an opera singer. So well, my brother's an opera singer. And that's how what a small world. But anyway, enough of that.
Rebar.
Rebar. That's it.
Rebar.
Well, actually, it wasn't. It was the scaffolding.
Okay.
It was the scaffolding we're putting.
Well, you said the
But,
rods.
yeah. So when I finished Indiana and I went to Germany and passed, I sang in the opera company there. My dad had a heart attack. I gave up singing for a while. In 1990, I decided I'm going to get back into singing. So I auditioned. I was singing in a club. I just picked up one Friday night and walked into a club in Georgetown. I was humming a couple of tunes with a band that was there. And a guy in there says, man, you're pretty good. You should start singing again.
Were there vertical poles in this club?
No poles. No, they were just a lot of drunk women.
He said club.
It was
Georgetown.
in Georgetown, yeah. So, but most of those clubs have DJs.
Are we
They
still
don't
on
have
the
live.
taco story?
We're still on the taco.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a
So,
long way. But I don't know where
so
the hell we're going.
here's what happened.
I'm trying to.
So I sang with the Air Force. I auditioned. I've been in the Air Force. I was a singer in the Air Force.
Okay.
If you didn't know that, I auditioned.
Singing sergeant.
I was a singing sergeant. You sing for the White House. You
Yes,
sing
sir.
it, all that stuff. I auditioned for the Washington Opera for the chorus, and they call me up, and I get my debut in this country a day after I got out of basic training. I got a call from Ed Parrington, who asked me to audition for a role in the Washington Opera because they had heard me do my chorus audition. So I said I'd be happy to do so. And I sang, and they offered me a role. So I hadn't sung in 4 years, and all of a sudden I'm singing for Giancarlo Menotti as my director, Steve Mercurio's the conductor, making my debut in America at the Kennedy Center. And this is my career for the next 4 years. Do that. Then I go to Utah. I sing with their opera company and regional operas for 2.5 years. I come to New York thinking I'm going to make my debut at the Met. I'm coming here to be in the Met. But, you come to New York, and it's expensive. You just got to work. And there's always these little opera companies in New York City that you pay your dues. You learn little roles. You know Amato Opera, right?
Amato Opera.
Great. Beverly
I was
Sills.
offered Aida there.
Yeah, I sang 4 little roles at Amato Opera.
Beverly Sills sang at the Amato
apparently
Opera.
that's what Tony Amato told me, believe it or not.
Maybe in her limousine passing
when
the
he was
Amato
passing.
Opera.
So I auditioned. I got a call to audition for this opera company, and they were doing a production that was going to be going to Mexico.
Okay.
Now, I thought, well, great, I just need work. I mean, in 1 year in this in the first 2 years that I was in New York, I sang for 5 different smaller companies and learned 6 new roles because I did 2 roles with one company. So I was paying my dues. But this particular company heard me and they said they want me to audition. So I auditioned for this opera, and I said, "What role?" And she goes, the woman, I don't want to say her name because it would possibly, cause.
Okay.
So she says, "We would like you. We want you. We definitely want to use you." I said, "Great. What role would you like?" There's 3 base roles in this opera. She says, "I don't know yet. I'll let you know.
Okay.
But we're going to have rehearsal on this day. And, in a month and a half, we start rehearsals. And then we're going to be going down to Mexico to do the performances.
Okay.
2 weeks in Mexico." I said, "Wonderful."
Was it Juarez?
So it's approaching the rehearsal date, and I keep calling her. I say, "Excuse me, I left a message. She wasn't returning it. What role am I supposed to be learning for this opera? And, oh, by the way, do you have a contract?"
Right.
Well, I still never get her. Oh, she calls me back, says one message: "We're still trying to work out casting. We're not sure of the role yet, but you'll definitely have a contract before rehearsal. You'll definitely have a contract before rehearsal starts."
Usually you're supposed to show up to rehearsal knowing the role.
Exactly. That's how we do it. We're supposed to at least learn the role, right? Not know the whole opera.
Wait a minute, what?
So exactly. So it was like approaching the rehearsal date with 3 days away, and I'm calling her almost every day, still thinking, I haven't even told what role, but I would like a contract that at least spells out what this is about. Well, the day comes, the rehearsal, I don't go. I just say, I have no reason to go to this rehearsal. There's nothing on the God's green earth that should get me to this rehearsal. I have no commitment, no role, and no contract.
Right.
So I don't go. 10 days after the rehearsal, she finally calls me. "Mr. Basile, why weren't you at the rehearsal?"
10 days after.
And I said, "That was 10 days ago. It took you this long to realize I wasn't there."
So what'd you do?
She goes, "Well, I have never seen anything so unprofessional as to not show up for
Never
rehearsal."
seen any contract.
That's what I told her. I said, "I've never seen anything so unprofessional as not even getting a contract, not being told what role. What profession have you been a part of, woman, that you have not seen anything so unprofessional? I don't expect things. I accept simple, give me a contract." So we had our words. And she said, "Well, I've never." And I said, "Well, I'll never work for you." So I let it go. I hung up. About 6 months later, I run into a person that I met at the rehearsal, at the audition for that. And I said, "Say, how did that show ever go?" He says, "Well, to be honest with you, we all went to Mexico." I said, "Oh, so there actually was a production?"
Yeah.
He said, "Yes, but we didn't get paid. We got a stipend on our way down and a one-way ticket. When the opera was over,
A one-way ticket to Mexico.
to Mexico, he said,
Once we're down there, we don't know what's going to happen.
None of us got a return ticket."
Oh my
The
gosh.
performance went on like scheduled, and then all of us never got paid, and we never got a return
And
ticket.
then they
We-
just
my
packed up
God.
and they're like,
They
"See you
just
guys
packed their
later."
shit. Just walked
See
back.
you later.
Unbelievable.
That was my experience. I said, "Boy, well, I skirted that one." But that's the New York opera.
That's. I wonder if they're still around.
I know. And, sad thing. This is the truth.
They
They are. 6 years later. About 3 years later. I by this time had worked with the Met, and I had been working with Jerome Hines.
Yeah.
And Jerry Hines asked me about 3 years later if I would join him and do a joint concert at the Russian consulate. And I said, "I'd be happy to. Sounds like a wonderful." I said, "Tell me about the concert."
Jerry Hines, is he the guy that tap danced?
Yeah, that was his cousin.
Oh, okay, go on.
Jerome Hines, actually, no. Jerome Hines was 42
Tap
consecutive years.
Yeah,
That's Gregory
That's
Hines.
Gregory.
Oh, I'm sorry, go on. Go on, I'm sorry.
So Jerry calls me and says, "I'm doing this concert at the Russian consulate. Would you like to join me on this concert?" And I said, "I'd be happy to." I said, does it pay? But I am singing with Jerome Hines, so there are things he would say, what the heck. And by this time, I had done master classes with him and things. It was fun. We had a wonderful working relationship. And he says, "Well, it's being produced by this woman."
He said the
Same woman?
lady's name.
Same woman.
Oh my gosh.
No. Okay.
I said, how well do you know her?
Oh my
I
God.
said, just get paid up front
Yeah,
and have your own car.
And make sure we're not going to Mexico.
Exactly.
Now, Orrin, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
I've heard that you've had some glamorous
Very,
concerts.
very glamorous.
And some incredible exposure at gymnasiums.
Yes, actually. So when I was a young artist, and we're getting paid, we're not getting paid, we're getting paid basically enough to live, and I use that in quotations, enough to live. I'm living up in the attic. Same opera company, wonderful Pittsburgh Opera. All my love to them. I think they're
Not
amazing.
taking the trash out.
Right. Going with my Ellen TV guide schedule. And so the opera company wanted to do something nice for us because we couldn't really afford anything. We could afford, rent and maybe barely enough to eat. So, and everything that I owned had to fit into my car. Otherwise, I couldn't own it because that's it.
Yeah.
I moved from one place to another.
Sure.
So the company came to us and they said the local gym is offering free membership to our singers, to our young artists. I said, this is fabulous. Yeah. So we all took advantage of it. We went to this really wonderful gym and worked out. And then they came up to me about a month later or something, and they said, we want to do something nice for the gym. And we've offered for you to sing there at the gym to do a concert. I said, that sounds fine. I'm willing to do whatever it takes for this free gym membership. So I remember I had my one suit. I owned one suit.
Audition suit.
Yeah, my audition suit. So I put my
membership.
I put on my suit. I went with the pianist. We had a keyboard. I remember under our arm. We weren't expecting a piano. It's a gymnasium. I understand. There's no piano. So we show up at the front desk and we say, "Hi, we're here for the concert."
Did you dress up or did you wear gym?
No, I was in my suit. I was in my
dress-up suit.
I was in my
Sweats
suit.
and a t-shirt.
No, I was in my
you
suit.
got a tie
I'm doing a concert for the gym
You
members.
wear a tie
You
when
could
you
have worked
sing?
out at the same time. You could have worked out at the same time.
No. So I showed up and I said to them, which one of the fitness rooms, was you want me in the Pilates room, in the yoga room? I figured they'd be set up with folding chairs and they said, wait 1 second here. We weren't expecting you. So they go in the back and they said, I don't really understand what's going on here. I don't know. Somehow the communication broke down. And they said, why don't you set up by the treadmills? I said, excuse me? So they took me over and they kind of said, let me see how big the piano is. And they said, okay, there's enough room between these two treadmills. So the pianist, we set up in front of in between the two treadmills. And while people were working out, I just did an entire concert in the workout room between two treadmills. And people.
What'd you sing?
Figaro and who knows, all kinds of stuff. I remember the look on people's faces. Here I am trying to deal with the sounds of the. I remember this one guy bouncing a basketball, walking by me, bouncing a basketball. Like, what the fuck is going on? And here I am in my suit trying to do my whole shtick, and it was just so that was that.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay, wait now I got to ask you about the food court.
yeah. So then Then they came back to me and they said,
you've made it when you're performing
right.
in a food court.
So they said to me, listen, there's a festival. We want you to sing at the festival.
The big time.
This is big time. Pittsburgh has a big street festival.
Big time.
So they said, you're going to be singing in the food tent. So I said, great. There's a stage, there's a setup. I show up, and there's a salsa group, and they're moving and shaking, and everybody's enjoying it. And everybody's, I said, this is it. This is my big break.
This is it.
And suddenly they say, and now we're going to have opera.
Ladies and gentlemen, opera.
if you a couple minutes, we'll be ready. We'll have opera. And the place cleared out.
Yeah, of course.
Completely cleared out. And there I was, standing in the middle of the food court.
Singing to yourself.
Singing, no, not for myself. To all the people were cleaning out the tureens and everything for the food, scraping the food.
They loved it, huh?
Yeah. And I remember
God,
they
this is fantastic.
they were all covered, and where I was not covered. It started pouring rain, so here I am getting completely drenched. While these guys are all scrubbing their dishes and everything like that, mopping the floors, and then it was that. And then one of the other things that I was well known for when I was down in Houston, I lived there for 3 years, was they used to have us go out and try to sell tickets to the opera by giving previews at Barnes & Noble. And so I have to say I probably know the location of every Barnes & Noble in the greater Houston area. So that I did a lot.
You sang at Barnes & Noble?
I sang at Barnes & Noble's, yes, absolutely. Many, many, many times.
Well, this was the start of your career, right?
Well, this happened
was a month ago.
Yeah, I was going to say.
This is okay if you're cutting your teeth and you're making your way.
No, listen.
But when you're 40 years old and they ask you to sell tickets to the opera.
This is really actually it was funny because I sang at one thing that I did do kind of recently was I was asked to do to sing at I think it was an event for the Boys and Girls Club or something like that.
Recently?
This was maybe a number of years ago. And Cardinal Dolan was there, which was a big deal, you know.
Sure.
And I remember I got there, and again...
But tell me why that's a big deal.
Well, for Cardinal Dolan?
Yeah,
seriously.
What's he going to do?
Well, no, but you're singing for, you know, it's...
I mean, I get it. And I get it, and I have the same kind of...
respect
philosophy about it, but I mean,
well, it was a lovely dinner, and they wanted a professional singer there. So I thought, I mean, it wasn't like going to make my career, but I figured, you know, it's a nice thing to do, and
I get
it's
it.
nice having him there. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. You know, I have an invitation from the Vatican.
Wait,
I have an open invitation from the Vatican.
Do they know you?
To sing on Christmas Eve.
Well, if you had gone to Panama, they would have.
And see, I would have moved it up. It would have been quicker.
So I went to do this concert. And I will never forget this. Again, they didn't really know when to put the opera singer. Nobody ever really knows when to put the opera singer. So they were having a silent auction. And right before I sang, they said, and now the silent auction will be open, so everybody can go look at the products. And they're like, and now we're going to have opera. And so I get up there. I'm trying to sing,
your music.
And everybody is milling around.
Out numbers.
They're all looking at the silent auction things, and they're all chatting. That's the and I will never forget. The Cardinal got up, and he literally said, "I kid you not." He goes, "Will everybody please shut up?"
Oh my God!
He did. He
Cardinal
said,
Dolan, thank you very much.
He did say, "Please shut it." Or I mean, he said, "Shut it." I was maybe he said, "Shut it." He said, "Shut it," you know, or something. You know, is whatever it was. But I have to say, but you know, it keeps us humble, I guess. And like I said, there's been many times, and I've told Carl this, you know, when people mistake you for somebody and they come up to you and they're like, "Oh, you were just fabulous tonight." I just own it. Just say thank you.
Oh yeah, that's the
thank you. I mean, I think I've come to some of your shows when I've come to watch you, and people tell me how fabulous I was.
Oh yeah, you were amazing.
And I say, "Oh well, you're." Thank you.
Can I tell you? And you know, just on the tail end of your story here, I know exactly what you mean. When I lived in New York, and I had a little bit longer hair when I was blessed with a little bit longer hair, and I had a full beard.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. I was stopped 3 times a week, and people would say, "Oh my God, can I get your autograph?" And I'd go, "Yes." And I had longer, wavy hair, full beard, and I'd say, "Oh, yeah, of course you can."
Yeah.
And I'd sign my name, and they'd look at it and they'd go, Carl Tanner?
Who's that?
Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm Carl Tanner. I'm the opera singer. And they're like, "Opera singer? You're not the guy on Tool Time?"
Yeah.
The guy on, I'm like, Richard Karn?
Oh yeah.
Tool Time is the TV show on the other TV show. What's it called? So, come on,
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
Yeah.
That guy, and they're like, "You're not him." I'm like, "No," and they're like,
What's his sidekick's name?
"Oh, okay, yeah."
What is
and I was
his
like, "Oh, so you don't want that?" I'll just take it back myself. You know, I'm not kidding you.
Yeah,
3 times a week, probably
Yeah. Wow.
for a whole summer. When Home Improvement was really big, they thought I was Richard Karn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when people would stop me and go, "Oh my God, can I get a charter?" I said, "Sure, I'd sign Richard Karn."
Of course.
I'm not bullshitting. I was on 72nd Street.
No, what was the actor
and
I told
lady
you?
with her kid, and her kid was pointing at me, and I thought,
you got mistaken for
You know,
William
maybe-
Hurt. Was it William Hurt?
Yes, I was on a plane. That guy rings over
William
and goes,
Hurt.
"I'm a huge fan," and I said, "Thank you."
The chunkier version.
I guess the twin brother, William Blurt. I don't know.
Oh, that's
and I'm
funny.
like,
Just own it.
"Yes,"
Just
and he
own
goes,
it.
"I'm a huge fan." And I said, "Oh, thank you," and he goes, "I've seen everything you've done." And I went, "Thank you," and he goes, "Your most recent, what was it called?" And I'm like, I blurted out something, and he goes, "What was that?" And I said, "Oh, nothing." And he goes, "What was that movie you did recently?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah," and I went, And I didn't know what to say. And he goes, anyway, I'm a huge fan. He said, maybe I'll get your autograph. I said, sure. And he never got my autograph.
Yeah.
Oh, just
he
do
didn't
it.
want to write down Richard. Did you know who he thought you were, though?
Hell no. Until someone said, you look like
Here's
Richard.
the thing, though. Here's what's so weird to me, and I've always felt this is absolutely bizarre. And I don't know. I don't know if movie stars feel this way or whatever. But, you come off the Met. I mean, look, I'm a kid from Brooklyn, honestly. And people come up and they say, oh, and they call me Mister. They don't call me Oren.
They call me Sir.
Yeah, they say Sir. And then I sign this autograph, and then I get on the train, the subway, back to Brooklyn.
Sure.
Yeah. And
that's the way an actor is.
I guess. I don't know. It just seems so weird to me. I've always thought it's bizarre and
Oren, I got to tell you, man, people don't know. I was married to an actress, a movie star.
Yes.
I mean, a real movie star. She had an Oscar.
You can say who it is.
No, we don't.
Come on.
No.
Say who it is.
I don't want to drop names.
You say it or I'll say it.
No, I don't want to drop names.
No,
it's okay.
drop names.
It's
It was
not
your
Drake.
wife.
What do you mean? It's your
I
wife.
know.
Come on.
Say it.
Let 'em
Ladies
Google
and gentlemen, my friend here was blessed to be married to the great and one and only
Celeste Holm.
Celeste Holm, the great
Yes.
movie actress
13
and Broadway star.
Yes.
13 and a half years, the love of my life. And I'm telling you, when I met her, she was taking the 10th Street bus, the 10th Avenue bus home
good.
after the shows. I mean, that's just the
we're
way
just human.
the business is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, she was telling me one night she did a gig and where, of course, there was like a big area of waiting time before you go on, and so the hosts of the gala had asked her if she wanted to show up for cocktails before the show. So they gave her a mint julep, and she said, "Oh, no, I really can't have this. I'll get drunk." And the host was like, "No, listen. There's plenty of time before the show. Have one. You'll be fine." So she has it. It doesn't take much. It didn't take much to make my wife drunk, but all of a sudden she had they ended up having a second because they're sweet and they went down easy. And before she knew it, she thought there was going to be dinner, and somebody comes in and says, "Celeste, we have to get you to the stage."
Oh, my God.
Oh,
no.
boy.
You got to eat something.
She
man.
went out
Enjoy
there
the alcohol.
holding on to the mic stand like this, she said, while she sang all of her numbers. And then when she was done, they didn't have a limo for her. She literally got in a bus, came home, and while she was in the back seat of the bus, she overheard two little ladies talking. She goes, "Oh, I'm so," one said to the other, "that was a great concert." The other goes, "I wish I missed the one person I wanted to see." And the one said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and it was during that time that they introduced Celeste Holm." And the woman was like, "You didn't miss much."
Oh, no.
My wife overheard that, and she just sat there in her seat in the bus going, "Oh, boy, I'm so glad."
Well, I want to take this opportunity. Now that you say that,
it happens.
How can I say this? People sometimes think, oh, they're up there, they're doing their thing, that there's this wall that divides us, and we're not aware of what people write or say.
Oh, very aware.
And I gotta say, to all the bloggers out there, it's I didn't mean to go into this, but now that Frank says that,
well, you know what? It's a good segue into our next segment.
What's that?
Which is called the Rant of the Week.
Well,
it's not
really rant of the week because it's a rant of my entire career. But I have to say, there are people who write things. Everybody now with a computer is a critic.
Oh, yeah.
And there have been some really horrendous things written about myself, about my friends, about Carl, everybody,
about
about
the New York Times.
Everybody. Yeah, but the New York Times, I would say, is more. Look, these are professional critics, but it's these people who feel like it's their right to write disgusting, horrible things about people, about singers. And one thing I want to say is. This is a part of our bodies. It's something that we do. It's very personal. And if you don't enjoy a performance or you don't think somebody's to your taste, and then you take to the computer and you write such horrible, nasty things. I mean, we hear them, we see them. We know that they're out there because every time you go to put your name in to find a review that you want to use for your website or whatever. These things pop up, and they stay there for years. And to the people out there, I actually know some of these people by name because I remembered because they're so awful. Yeah. It hurts a lot, and this is a job that we do to try to feed our families and to try to we're not living lavish, incredible lifestyles. We're not huge movie stars making millions and millions of dollars.
Not at all.
And
that would make it a lot easier.
That would probably make it, or
say,
professional athletes who are making millions and millions. And that for them, I'm sure it's very painful as well.
Pay that way.
It is, but you know what?
I'm sure it's painful for them as well.
When they drive up and their gates open and they go up the circular driveway, you know what? I'm telling you right now.
It is easier.
It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to get into that, but I just, when Frank was saying that, I just kind of felt like I had to say something because it's...
we're human.
We're human, and there's been some. I remember specifically. I used to sing a lot in San Francisco, for example. I remember, and there's one woman. I remember her name. Of course, I won't say it. I won't give her the time of day. But she used to write all the time. I'm so sick of seeing Oren singing here at this company. Can't they get anybody else? It's so. I've had and look. I'm sorry that I'm not the person. That there are other singers you want to see. Great. But to write those kind of things, I remember it used to always it stuck to me, and I used to think to myself, why is this woman trying to take a job away from me that I've worked so hard to do? And
lack of accountability.
Yeah, lack of accountability. And I can't. You can't then go back at them and say, But I remember thinking to myself, I worked so hard to get to this point in my career, and this is a person who doesn't think about the fact that I have a family, that I have. That I'm trying to make ends meet, that I'm trying to support my, this is my life, this is my job. It's not something I'm doing just for shits and giggles.
Right.
And I just remembered that people like that need to take that into account. So hopefully people who, if there's somebody out there who maybe will think twice maybe about some of the things they write, and they can say, maybe it wasn't to the performance or the singing wasn't to my taste or whatever, and that's fine. I have no issues with that. I can't please everybody.
But don't make it personal.
But when you start to really get into some of the nuts and bolts and really rip people apart for certain things, it's not acceptable.
I want to add something to that. Now, that said, we're moving into a new segment called Weekly Rant and stuff that happened to us during this week. So, but before I move into that, I want to interject and throw a little light on that. Yeah. Okay. So in 2007. I recorded "Hear the Angel Voices." It's a Christmas album,
and I want to say, as a Jew, it is I'm giving it a Semitic stamp of approval because it is the finest. It is the finest. It is the finest Christian album I have ever heard. Not that I've heard a lot, but the ones that I have heard of.
Christmas. You mean Christmas?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Of Christian music.
Our God is an awesome God.
Exactly. I mean, it's right up there with Michael W. Smith, I would say.
Okay. Wow.
Who actually arranged one of my pieces?
There you go. But I'm giving the Semitic stamp of approval.
So I released this Christmas album, and the only reason I released the Christmas album is I had sung "O Holy Night" somewhere live in public, and someone made a bootleg recording and put it on a website called, and I was honored, 16 of the greatest "O Holy Nights" recorded in history. I was honored. There was Pavarotti, of course. There was, all major stars.
Right.
And at the very bottom was me. And no one knows or knew who I was. But it was on there. But what about that website was important is it was making someone money, and it wasn't making me. So I said, I'm going to make my own damn album. So I put the feelers out, and all of a sudden, Sony Recording Studios and said, we'll do it. We can do it here, and da-da-da-da. We can do it here. And so I said, I'm going to make this album. So we end up making the album, and I ended up putting it on my own label at the time. I started my own label called Bounty Productions.
Okay.
Full Circle Bounty Productions. So we went back to Bounty Productions, just made the album, and it's quite an undertaking. We started with thinking, I can make the album for 10, 12 grand. I wanted to make an all-American album. Exactly. Well, after $323,000 and selling one home and mortgaging my next home,
right,
and losing that home, I have an incredible album, and I could build a house with the albums and boxes that I have in my basement. So that said, I have this album, and they release all the press about it, and I'm doing a lot of press, and I was going to be on David Letterman, but I got bumped at that time because of Hillary Clinton announcing her first candidacy for presidency at the time. But I was on Good Morning America. Katie Couric had me on. I was on Early Morning Show. I was on the Today Show. I was on all of the major television shows. And I was proud, and I am proud of this album.
You should be.
But I made it as a dedication to my mother and my father, who died too young in their 50s and never got to hear me sing. So it was played on every media station, everything. It has been played. And I decided that since I own the album and I own the rights to the album, that I was going to give all of the profits of the album away. Now, any good business person would have said, you're an idiot. And I probably am still. But I still give 90% of profits of the album away.
Profits.
That said, I give it away to children's charity and the homeless organizations in the Washington area. Now, addressing your
No, I know
situation,
where you're going with this because I remember seeing it.
Some asshole, and I should hunt you down because I have the ability and the capability and the resources to, and you know who you are, Jay Ryan, whoever the hell you are, and if I gave a shit, I would. It's SFO Opera, SF Opera. He was the first person, the first reviewer to review it for Amazon.
Right.
And once you do that, you can't get you can't get anything on it. You can't. You can go on there and say, "Don't buy this," and people read that and they take to heart.
Yep.
Without even listening to it.
Yeah.
They'll say, "This review helped me."
It's
make
still
a
the first
decision,
review.
Right? Well, all these people went in and added their reviews and stuff like this. And look, it might not be the greatest. Everybody as a tenor, we always are compared to Pavarotti.
It's great.
It's
a great album.
And the young tenors now are compared to Bocelli. Oh my God, I love opera. I love Andreas Bocelli. He's so great. Well, I was lucky that I was never equated to him. But Pavarotti, you hear Pavarotti A Holy Night, and you would think, oh my God, if it doesn't sound like that. You hear Pavarotti's Nessun Dorma. If you don't sound like that, you're shit. Well, so I released this Christmas album, and I have to say it's one thing I'm proud of. The one few things in my career. Well, this idiot puts that on there. And let me tell you now, and this is a promise and not a threat. If I find you, I'm going to pay you a visit. And I'm going to bitch slap you all the way back to San Francisco. And I think you're in Boston. Now, that said, I want to keep this on a light note. So I invite you to have the balls to come on our show. Really, come on our show. Because you wrote about how I had a wobble the size of a truck. No one no other critic commented on my wobble. It
just goes to the point.
But I would love to have you on you incredible pontificating idiot. Come on our show and talk about. You relate my album to Anne-Sophie von Otter.
Who dat?
Remember that?
No,
He said Anne-Sophie von Otter is a true artist.
Well, she is a true artist, but
no, but that you should listen to and don't listen to Carl Tanner. So I like Anne-Sophie von Otter. So Anne, you know who I am. Write this idiot and smack him.
The point is that you put it online and it's going to stay there, and you
That's
can't
it.
get rid of it.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. The medium that was created makes everybody a semi-expert in their own mind.
So that's my rant for the day.
Wrong.
You've got to give us a rant, and then we got to wrap this show with our favorite television shows.
Oh, okay, we're going to do that.
Well, your rants are pretty much the same rants, right?
And I guess we'll cover things about what happened to us this week. Because I know that you had some trouble with a hotel toilet.
I did. So
take a minute and tell us about your hotel toilet.
Can I mention something?
Yeah. I want to personally just apologize to the DoubleTree Hotel in Norwalk, Connecticut.
Oh my God! Did they have a plumber?
I want to say thank you for not charging my credit card. I ended up taking 5 boys to a water polo tournament this weekend, and. My son is notorious for taking. I don't know. He's notorious for clogging toilets wherever we go, and as I'm trying to get the 5 boys to the pool for the early start time, and I'm screaming, "Let's go, let's go!" My son calls me, he goes, "Dad, can you tell the hotel to send somebody upstairs?" I said, "What's the problem?" He goes, I clogged the toilet. I said, "Okay, I understand that. You've done that before." He goes, and it's now going into the hallway. And
is it lack of fiber or more towels?
I don't. He's a big boy. So we had to leave the hotel on a rush to try to get these 5 boys to the game on time. So I apologize to the Norwalk Hotel. I whoever had to deal with that. Again, it's it's a tough job.
Oh,
I mean, my heart goes out to them. So that's my. I just want to say a shout out to that. And my other thing that for the week is, as I do the water polo stuff, shuttling kids back and forth. I want to say, any kids out there, my other thing that I want to rant at is kids that do not say thank you. I don't know if I wish I could be there to watch if my boys are doing it. But
all kids do it. All kids don't say thank you.
Yeah, that's a big
please.
one. That's a big one for me.
They have to be taught that.
You have to, they can be taught it, and you have to reiterate it 100 times.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
still, but that said,
Yeah.
I have to ask you real quickly. I heard you had some run-in with a hospital this week.
Oh, yes.
Some mixing.
I heard this
man.
too. Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
we're all at that age.
Please tell us.
Oh gosh, listen. I want to say whatever
Take
you
a
hear,
minute.
whatever you
Literally a minute.
very much like what you're saying. You can't take everything you hear for granted, like for gospel on the internet. Well,
Okay.
when you see infomercials that talk about supplements.
Well, Frank, you like to sleep until about 4:00 in the afternoon, and then you're up the rest of the night. I don't know what you're doing.
I know.
So I think you watch your fair share of infomercials.
I'm watching too many infomercials.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I like chess. I play chess. I watch the news, and occasionally those infomercials come up on Facebook
Okay.
and stuff like that.
So what happened?
So and I've been into working out. I mean, underneath
As we
all
can
this,
see, right,
yeah,
okay.
Underneath all this, I have spent my days in the gym, but when you get in your 50s, you're looking at how do you keep it slim? How do you,
Right.
it's hard to lose those extra pounds, and every now and then you get an infomercial that says, "Try this."
Right.
And in this particular infomercial, it was a collection of 4 different things that you have to add to your diet.
Okay.
You have to. You have to lower your cortisol because the cholesterol is not supposedly, or the testosterone is not the problem,
exactly.
but it's the cortisol that's keeping the
cholesterol
high, but it's also keeping your
the testosterone low.
Right. So what did
you got to lower your
what
cortisol.
did you do to counter that?
Well, there's these 4 things that I'm supposed to have in my
You
diet.
should have bought the one from the website.
They're selling their product, which is the perfect combination.
Right. So you thought
of
you would do it
balance.
I
yourself.
myself am
Yes.
expecting in the mail.
Well, I said, I don't want to. Why should I give them money when I can go out and create my own 4 products?
Tell us what happened, or should I show them the picture?
I went and I bought those
Show
4
them the
items,
picture.
and I'm telling you, the guy at the store said, somebody bought this exact same combination just a week ago. I said, we're probably watching the same
Probably.
infomercials.
Can I show them
Well,
the
I
picture?
took it that afternoon, and I took it around 4:30, and by about 6:30, I was in the emergency room thinking I was having a heart attack.
And what else? Tell them what else. I'm going to show them the picture. Can I?
I looked like a 3-legged stool.
Tell them what was in the.
One of them had this thing called horny goat weed.
Horny goat weed.
Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous.
Can you see that?
It lasted 2 days.
So for all you junior alchemists out there,
You watch yourselves.
Watch yourselves.
Horny goat weed. It actually works.
I had no idea what that stuff. I thought it kept my
So
cortisol.
if we need a
low.
sponsor of Horny Goat Weed, if we're looking for a
Yes.
sponsor for our show, it
Yes.
does work. So
I had
So
no-
listen, real quickly, we got to talk about.
That was
real
not
quick.
my agenda, by the way. It was strictly to lose weight, but that was certainly a side
but
effect.
listen,
great side
it's a good side effect.
So listen, we got just a few minutes. Listen, we got to wrap this up with favorite TV shows, and the only reason I thought this would be a really cool thing because maybe they'll ask us on our show. Ask
since we're-
us on their
Oh, yeah.
shows. What are your favorite TV shows that you're watching this week? Because we're all avid TV watchers late at night.
You're not going to get book reviews from us, I don't think.
No,
No.
we don't read. At least we don't read. We just don't read. I was going to say, at least I don't read. We don't read.
Well, there's that documentary you told me about, which was unbelievable. The documentary, the one called The Devil Next Door.
The Devil Next
The
Door.
Devil Next Door on Netflix was
Netflix.
an incredible documentary.
Yeah.
Was riveted by that. So that
Really?
yes.
Why? What was about it? That was
Well,
the-
You gotta go see it.
You got to go see
Well,
it.
what's
Gotta
the
go see it.
basic
Gotta go
premise?
see
Go
it.
see it. Go watch it.
Go watch it. An unbelievable
It'll
documentary.
suck you in. Watch watch.
It's 5
watch
episodes.
Yep.
5
watch.
episodes.
Yeah.
You want to say what yours is? Oh no! You know what? One of the ones that you put me in touch with, which I mean, again, we may need a little more time to talk about it. But what was the show from London when you were over there? You told me about that show, and I watched a couple
Schitt's
episodes.
Creek? Oh, no. There
There
was some London show.
The
I'm not
naked
kidding
dating
you.
show?
The naked dating show, and they'd have these
It's the
guys on there
craziest
or
thing
the
I've ever
women.
seen in my life.
If there was a guest on the show that was a female, then the panel that she got to choose from were men, of course. They'd have like 4 or 5 guys, and they'd have them covered with doors, and the door would either come up from the bottom or drop from the top. And all the women, it's very interesting. I've noticed something about this show. When they had a woman and she was looking for a date, the women would always say, I would like to see from the bottom up. So in other words, the women chose to see the male appendage.
The horny goat we discovered is selling more now.
You would have done well on that show, I think.
But that was her first choice. That was like, okay, and then if she liked what she saw, she'd say, okay, from the top down, then look at the face. Where men would say, may I see from top down? And I thought maybe it was the face, but no. Straight men are interested in breasts. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I would agree with that.
Am I right, guys? Am I right?
I'm kind of a legs ass
I'm
guy
not straight,
myself.
so
I'm boobs.
okay. Well, so yes, and so I'm
And a face
flipping
of
through, and it's
personality.
not like 12 o'clock at night on a seedy little pay-per-view channel. This is on network
I had to
television
check it out
in
because
London.
I couldn't believe when you told me about this. I had to check.
me
It's the
neither.
craziest thing I've ever seen.
It was network television in London.
Called Naked Dating.
And it was on
What's it
about
called?
8:30.
Naked Dating?
I
The
don't
dating-
know, naked. I don't know what the hell. We can Google it.
Give it a Google.
Give it a Google.
I'm a bore.
It's worth a Google.
It's worth a Google.
Now I'm telling you, my favorite television show right now is Schitt's Creek on.
Haven't watched that yet.
Oh my God! I didn't know, but it's a Canadian-made television show. It has Eugene Levy and his son David Levy. I think it's David. No, David's the character on the show. But it's a great comedy. And Catherine O'Hara,
yeah.
she is hilarious.
She is
She
hilarious.
has this accent on that it's a mixture between a British, Southern American. It's so screwed up. It's hilarious. It's a great show. And then I love Doc Martin. I'm an old soul. I love Doc Martin. Doc Martin, probably you've never heard. And it's It's a British television show. But anyway, what about you, Frankie?
Frank, what are you watching at 4 o'clock in the morning besides infomercials about horny goat weed?
Are you being served? I like
you
those
like
old.
Are You Being
I
Served?
love
You
those
like
old
the
British.
old
I
British
love those
shows,
old
huh?
British shows.
You would
great,
love this one. You would
great
love
sense
Doc
of humor.
Martin.
Their sarcasm.
You have to
and
realize
it's intelligent.
what's on at that time of night.
I
you
know,
know,
man.
I mean,
Mrs. Slocum and her pussy?
No.
You know that show, right?
No.
Do you know it? I love it when she
Yeah.
calls and she goes, "Can you go?"
No, but
can
keeping
you
up
go-
appearances
can you-
is pretty
can
funny, if I tell you.
Can you go get? The building's on fire and she's trying to get her pussy out. You know, she wants to get.
Okay, we started in with pussy jokes.
Her cat. Okay, but she refers to her cat as her pussy.
No, and on regular modern shows, there's a wonderful one that Rob Lowe is now on a new TV series where he's like a firefighter. It goes to Texas to takes over a new.
I saw the commercials for that. Yeah.
I actually saw the premiere episode last week. No, it was really good. It takes place right after 9/11, man.
Well, I want to say that when you're on the road and you're singing, we have so much time to watch TV that's why I think we are kind of connoisseurs when it comes to what's on TV.
Yeah, especially if you're married or you're engaged or you're attached.
Then when you're
You
on the
don't
road,
go out. You don't go out.
That's
You don't
right,
go out
no.
whoring. You sit in your hotel room and watch TV.
and eat tuna fish and make dinner for
eat
yourself.
well,
If it's
and
any
Carl
brownies.
I think has the world record for the most slow cookers. You
I
buy
do.
every
The most what?
every gig you go to.
Every time I've worked in the United States, which is 25 times over the last 10 years, I forget to bring or send ahead a slow cooker, and I love cooking out of slow cookers. I literally have 14 slow cookers.
he literally has.
you
He
can
did.
buy one wherever you
from
go.
the minis.
I told him he should have a party
the
where he gives
giant-
away slow cookers.
to the giant eight quart
Yeah,
ones.
crock pots.
Crock pot,
Yeah,
crock
no, they're
pots.
great.
But he does.
So if you need a slow cooker, please email us.
That's how we survive on the road. You cook in your hotel room. Seriously.
that and you
Yeah.
eat at about 3 o'clock in the morning.
No,
That's
I-
right.
look,
or you
I-
go to
what I
happy
do-
hour when it's free.
No, you know what I do is I prepare it the night before, and then the next morning I take it, put it in slow cooker, turn it on. When I come home from rehearsals later on that evening, boom, it's ready.
Well, I went to visit you in San Diego recently, and you already knew where all the Jack in the Boxes were, and you knew the location of all of those places, and what time they were
Really?
open until.
Really, you gonna out me like that?
Well,
Jack in the Box?
we are. This is opera with a side of fries.
That's
I
right.
mean,
It's our
Okay.
side of fries.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say every time you come visit me, you're like, "Where's the Burger King?" or whatever the hell you'll go.
Burger
What's the
King's not
closest
bad.
McDonald's? But anyway, so that's our favorite TV shows, and until next time, people, and it's probably going to be maybe another week or two. Yeah, that's our show.
And we want to get. We'll eventually get an email address if people want to write to us with questions or stories. If you have stories that you want us to read, people from the road. I mean, hey, this is what
We'd
we're
love
doing.
that,
We
yeah.
love anything you want to add to the show. Please do. I think that'd be great.
And let me just wrap this up. At the beginning of our first episode, I said we're not always going to be politically correct. And we're going to offend people. And we hope we didn't offend you so much with some of the language and some of the.
You
but
offended
know
me
what?
by putting
We're-
my penis out there.
Oh
on the
my
world
gosh, I'm
like
so
that.
sorry. But you know what?
I think we
you might
offended
get
the
a
audience
date.
as well.
You might get some dates.
Yeah.
So if you're a gay man, no, but anyway, so listen, we
No.
do it out of jest,
Absolutely.
and we're gonna get serious on the show like we did about some of our rants,
Yep.
but we want to end it on a high note. So
We're a little bipolar that way, I think.
we're a little bipolar that way. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So look, we'll see you next time. And what do you guys got to say?
Till next time, opera with the side of fries.
Absolutely.
All right.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right.